Welcome everyone to Train. But we will press on. Joining us tonight, I see David, UP8518, Donnie, DG Model Works is in the house. We've got Thomas, Ronald, Elko Steam, and of course, Sid is joined us as well. I want to thank you all for joining us tonight on Train Tuesday. We're going to be talking about the Athearn Genesis SD70ACes and some other things going on at Athearn, as well as taking a few of your questions. So I did have an interesting comment last week in the comment section that said, why are you doing those shout outs? Just get on with the trains. I want to hear about the trains. I get that, but what we do for the shout outs, especially during the live feeds, is it's our way of saying hi. It's our way of being sociable. It's our way of saying thank you for joining us and taking time out of your day to watch the Athearn broadcast. So thank you. And with that being said, let's do one more round. I see Keegan has joined us, Thomas, Donnie, Brody, Thomas, Todd, and Charles. So we've got about 71 people joining us on the live feed right now. Welcome, everyone. If you've got some questions about the SD70ACes or any other questions about Athearn, wait till the end of the presentation. I'll be happy to answer as many of those as I can. So let's go ahead and get started with another Train Tuesday and some train goodness. So we're going to be talking about the Athearn Genesis SD70ACes. Now, of course, we just announced these last Friday, and you've got until the end of the month to place your pre-orders on these. Now, right now, you're up for a double treat because the SD70ACes from the previous run are available at your dealer now. So you can go to your dealer or you can go online and place your pre-orders for what we're going to be talking about tonight, as well as pick up one ready to go start earning its keep on your railroad. So let's talk about this locomotive a little bit. And if you like this Norfolk Southern locomotive, I put the part number there on your screen. This is the one with the Tsunami 2 sound, ATHG 75837. Again, that's model number ATHG 75837. Supplies are limited for whatever reason. Norfolk Southern is the hot one this time. So the Norfolk Southern units are going quick. You can also get this DCC ready. So contact your dealer if you'd like to add one of these to your roster. So let's go back, not really that long ago, and talk about the SD70Ace. Now, to meet stricter diesel locomotive emission standards that were imposed by the EPA Tier 2 regulations, EMD modified their SD70 MAC to create the SD70ACE as well as the SD70M-2. Now, the SD70ACE is equipped with EMD's 16-710-G3C-T2 prime mover. Now, it's rated at 4,300 horsepower. Interesting thing about these locomotives, we're going to be talking about these this evening, is early models featured kind of a bad cab design. This was first noted by CSX crews, and the crews were reporting annoying disturbances such as prime mover noises, traction motors, all kinds of different noises. And the cabs started to get a rather bad nickname with crews, and it got the nickname Thunder Cab. Well, that's because of all the rattling and everything else. Now they've since fixed that, but the earlier SD70ACes didn't have an insulated cab like they do now, and hence the term Thunder Cabs. You can thank CSX employees for that because they were noisy. And you know, as rail fans, we love to come up with names. Well, rail employees do as well. Now, much of the external design is based on the SD90. If you take a look at an SD90 and you take a look at an SD70, you're going to see some similarities. The car bodies are very similar. And that's going to include the full height nose door, the regular rectangular windows, large flared radiators, and the positioning of the dynamic brake equipment at the rear of the long hood. In addition, the inverters were moved from inside the long hood to a box on the walkway just behind the fireman's side of the cab. So really neat way how EMD repurposed that body. And you can see SD70ACes now still earning their keep. These came out around 2004, 2005. And most of the models that we're going to be talking about tonight are indeed from that era. So if we perchance don't have the road that you're looking for that's currently in stock, maybe we've got the road you're looking for up for pre-order. So let's talk about what we've got available for pre-order for the month of November. We're going to start with BNSF Railway. Now it's kind of interesting when the SD70ACe came out, a couple of railroads were updating their looks. They're updating their paint scheme, and in the case of BNSF, they were even changing their name, formerly known as Burlington Northern Santa Fe. They shortened that to just BNSF Railway in 2005. And then comes along 2006, and BNSF Railway was an early adopter of the SD70ACe, finding it ideal for coal service in the Powder River Basin. Now, these units were from a group that were built in 2006, and they feature nose-mounted headlights. Now, it'll be interesting to note that group numbers 9370 through 9399 would subsequently have their headlights mounted on the cab between the number boards. So the ones that we're offering are the very early ones with a nose-mounted cab. And we're going to offer 3 different road numbers here. As you can see on your screen at the top, you see 9337, 9345 in the middle, and 9363 on the bottom. Now, since these are BNSF locomotives, they do have BNSF features as they appeared when they were delivered from the factory. These, of course, are going to have the non-isolated cab with nose headlights, so Thunder Cab, right? These will have the cab camera. They have updated artwork with the correct black masking on the nose. Also, this is the first time with Tsunami 2 Sound, also LEDs and other updated features. We have offered these in the past, but that was back with the Tsunami 1s and, of course, with the old incandescent lamps. Now this has all been updated. Now, the next one that we have not done before and we really are excited about is the EMD demonstrators. Now, EMD was well known for its demonstrator locos over the years, and they constructed several SD70ACe demonstrator locos, including GM70 through 73. Now, it's interesting to note that GM70 was a pre-production unit. It had a unique car body, but the others ushered in the final design of what we know of as the SD70ACe. These were subsequently sold later on to Kansas City Southern. So we're going to offer the latter units, 71 and 72, since 70 is a unique car body and we don't have the tooling for that. We're going to do these guys. Here we've got GM71 and GM72. Now this is the first time we've ever offered these, so we're really excited about these, and this is a really cool paint scheme. Demonstrators are always popular because maybe for some reason we haven't offered the railroad of your choice, but with a demonstrator, it doesn't matter what railroad you model. If it's within your timeline, you can add these to your fleet, and they're absolutely acceptable because your railroad may be looking into purchasing some of these SD70ACes. These are going to have road number specific decoration and warning labels. Another thing to note is the researchers did find that there are small differences between 71 and 72, because remember, these were demonstrators and they were brand new. So warning labels change locations, things of that, just small details that they had to kind of figure out and put with the model. So each model is road number specific. And of course, since these are early models, these are also going to have the non-isolated cab. They're going to have a high headlight on them, so the cab will have the headlight. Coming up next, this comes with a trigger warning. Yes, it's legendary liveries. However, I want to pose something to you. Let's go back to 1995. What if Burlington Northern and Santa Fe couldn't come to an agreement? What if the merger never happened? What if Santa Fe was allowed to move on as its own entity, never merging? What would it look like in 2006? Now, we all know that SD75Ms 200 to 250 were the last units delivered to the railroad before the BNSF merger. And there was also a short time BNSF used a version of the Superfleet scheme with their initials spelled out, but this was the last gasp of this famous paint scheme. Now, if Santa Fe had decided to avoid the mega mergers of the 1990s, it's likely they would have ordered the SD70ACes from EMD in this striking red and silver Superfleet scheme. I don't know about you, but I think this is really cool. This is probably one of the most iconic paint schemes ever in railroad history. And the fact that maybe you don't want to model BNSF, but you want to model Santa Fe as if the merger never happened, this is definitely a plausibility. In fact, remember, BNSF experimented with keeping on with the Superfleet colors for a short period of time. So, while it is a legendary livery and these never existed, it certainly is plausible. Now, some of the details on these, first of all, they're going to mimic the same details that we talked about previously with the BNSF locomotives. So all the details are based on BNSF units in this run. That would make sense since they were basically the same locomotives, just different companies and different paint schemes. They're also going to feature a cab camera. Of course, these are going to have non-isolated cab with nose headlights, large GPS dome, which was common at the time, and we are going to include a PTC roof that's included to install at your discretion. So if you want to have these in modern day, you have a PTC roof included so that you can either model 2006 or present day if the Santa Fe was still soldiering on. We're not done with legendary liveries. No, I've got one more trigger warning for you guys. We've also got CSX. Now, CSX, yes, of course they have SD70ACes, or they did. SD70ACe units were delivered at the very beginning of production. CSX had recently unveiled a new paint scheme that they called YN3, which replaced the YN2 scheme on new and repainted locomotives. The ACEs were some of the first units delivered in this new scheme, but what if CSX was still using the YN2 when they were delivered? And here's our take on what they would have looked like. Now, again, this is very plausible. Maybe the art department didn't get the YN3 paint scheme done in time. Maybe the red tape that may have happened through marketing and everything else didn't happen. Who knows? But it's a very good possibility that these locomotives could have been delivered in YN2. And if it had been, this is probably what they would look like. Now, maybe you're a CSX modeler, or maybe you don't like the YN3. So here's your chance to relive the glory days of YN2, or Bright Future as it was called at the time, and see what the SD70ACes look like in that cool paint scheme. We've got two road numbers we're doing for you in this paint scheme, 4835 and 4843. Now, the details are based on other CSX units in this run, and we'll talk about those in a moment. These will also have a large GPS dome, non-isolated cab with high-mounted headlight, and again, like the Santa Fe units, we're going to include a PTC roof, so you can install that at your option. So if you want to model modern day CSX with YN2, and these are still earning their keep for CSX, you can put these PTC antenna arrays on your locomotives. Okay, that's it for legendary liveries, I promise. Now we're going to go on to the prototype version of CSX and what really happened. So what really happened with CSX is 20 SD70ACes were built in 2004, making them some of the earliest units built. They were a notable acquisition because at the time, CSX generally had a pretty good relationship with General Electric, and they used General Electric models for its heavy haul services. Now in 2017, they were sold to Progress Rail and put into lease service. So these are pretty much going to be stuck around 2004, right up until about 2016, right until they were sold in 2017. We're offering two road numbers though, in the YN3, or Dark Future, as I've heard some rail fans call it, 4844 and 4850. Now, this is going to feature updated artwork and colors. We were able to retain some experts in their field and use their information. So all new updated authentic artwork as well as colors. Of course, these have the non-isolated cab because remember, this is where they earned their nickname, Thunder Cabs. These have a high-mounted headlight, and they have a large GPS dome. And then finally, The one that surprised a lot of folks, and it's actually surprised a lot of us at Athearn. We're really glad that we offered these because a lot of you have been really enthusiastic about the Northshore Mining. Now these are the newest ones in this release. These are 2020 era locomotives. Northshore Mining runs a 47-mile railway connecting its taconite mine in Babbitt to a processing plant in Silver Bay on the north shore of Lake Superior. Now, they acquired several SD70ACe units from CSX, which they use in this dedicated haul operation. We're going to offer 3 road numbers for this, and really happy to see so many people enthusiastic about the Northshore Mining locomotives. Now, their reporting marks are NSMX, and we're going to offer 3 different road numbers for the SD70ACes: 671, 673, and 674. Now, the features for Northshore Mining include, well, this is the first time we've ever offered them. So it's brand new. We've never offered these before, and a lot of folks, like I said, have been really excited to the announcements as well as social media posts. These are former CSX units, and they're going to have the large GPS dome. Something else that's kind of cool about these locomotives, each locomotive has its own horn type. So the horn type differs per road number. So that's going to be kind of cool. And if you go for the Tsunami 2 version, that means depending on what horn is on there, is the actual sound file that your Tsunami 2 equipped locomotive will have. So there you have it. Those are the roads that we're offering for the month of November. Let's talk some more about the features of the Athearn Genesis SD70ACe. We're going to go back to our in-stock version so you can get an overall view of the details of the locomotive. Now, of course, these are going to have flexible rubber trainline hoses and MU hoses. They're also going to have etched see-through steps, lit number boards, truck lights, trainline hose, a full cab interior. We know there's a lot of folks out there that are finding really cool cab crew figures through different areas throughout the internet, and you can detail your cab to your heart's content. These are going to have walkway tread, windshield wipers, wire grab irons, and here's something that a lot of you guys really like about the SD70 series of locomotives. The roof is attached with magnets for easy removal. So you can get in there, you can put your figures in, you can do some additional detail. We've seen some really nice models at some of the prototype meets, and a lot of you guys like that magnetic top. So we're going to keep that for this run. Now, the minimum radius on these monsters is 18 inches. However, we do recommend a radius of 22 inches. So there you have it. For complete details, go to athearn.com, go to the new announcements tab, and select the PDF for the SD70ACes. And you can also go online and pre-order online if you don't have a hobby shop near you. So I recommend, if you don't have a local hobby shop that you can drive to, there are plenty of hobby shops online that are more than happy to help you out. It doesn't matter where in the world you're situated. A lot of them will ship international, so you can place your order in the comfort of your own home, and sometimes within days you have your new locomotive. Pre-orders on these, however, they end coming right up November 29th of, wow, you know what? Yeah, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, you know what? That's plenty of time. We still got October to get through. We haven't even celebrated Halloween yet. We still have American Thanksgiving, and there's Train Fest. I've got plenty of time. You'll be surprised how quick November 29th will sneak up on you. So do yourself a favor, contact your Athearn dealer of your choice and place your pre-orders on these locomotives. And while you're at it, go ahead and pick up one of those ones that are in stock and get an extra head start on SD70ACe goodness on your layout. Well, there you are. That's what I've got for you tonight, the SD70ACes. Let's take a look and see who's joining us and what kind of comments we've got, what kind of questions we've got, and then I'm going to let you get back to some modeling. So let's see. I'm going to go back through here from when I was doing the presentation. See if there's any questions in there. Oh, let's see. A lot of folks with some suggestions. I will say that what you can do is any suggestions for product, you can email us directly. It's Athearn-product suggestions at athearn.com. That goes straight to product development. Now, keep in mind, it's not a two-way conversation. It is a point of us getting information. Once in a while, a product developer may reach out if he's looking for more information, but for the most part, don't expect a full-on conversation. I've had people approach me at shows really upset because they sent a suggestion in and they wondered why they didn't get a response. It's basically just a depository for all of those uh, suggestions, road names, products, things of that name. So that's where it's going. Just a place for us to use that for when we start planning, say, next year. Let's see what else we've got going on in the comments. And we always get, I'm not going to point out the person that's making the comments, but we always get that one comment. Why didn't you do the BNSF such and such or the CSX such and such? There's a lot of reasons why we'll pick the road numbers and the eras in which we do. And there's the easiest answer to that is we haven't done them before. We've had requests for them. The easiest answer to that is we do look at those product suggestion emails. We also look at comments on social media right here on Train Tuesday. And if we get enough requests for those, we're going to produce them because we are in a business and we want to make sure that our customers are provided with what they actually want. Just because you want a certain road number doesn't mean that 10,000 people are the same like mine. Now, there may be in some situations where there are people that do think we should have done those other road numbers, and it's simply a matter of updated tooling. Maybe we don't have the tooling on hand right at this point, or we don't have the resources to attack that next project. I can tell you that our product developers right now are super busy with some projects, some of the projects that you guys have requested. So stay tight, stay tuned. We've got some great stuff coming in 2025. So hopefully that answers your question. Sorry we didn't provide the road numbers that you're looking for, but maybe next time. Let's see what else we've got. A lot of folks liking the dark future, the YN3 paint scheme. A lot of people like that paint scheme. To me, it kind of reminds me of a modern take of CNO or even Baltimore and Ohio. No locomotives for Southern Pacific this time, not in the SD70s. No chassis right away. BN Green, thank you for that. That is so true. Going back to why people might not get a response. That, and if John had time to respond to every product suggestion, he would not have time to design new models. That is absolutely, positively, 100% correct. I can tell you that after a Train Tuesday like tonight, where we've got about 132 people online, all at the keyboard jamming away with product suggestions, that Wednesday morning, John will tell me that his inbox is full. Also, when we go to shows, same thing. So yeah, if John was to have conversations with every single email that comes in, he wouldn't be doing anything new. He would just be talking emails. And let me tell you, some of the stuff he's working on, you guys are not going to be disappointed. You're not gonna be disappointed. Let's see. Corky says, although I probably won't be buying it, I love the Santa Fe fantasy scheme. Keep up with the fantasy schemes. Now, see, I find that so humorous because it's a very divisive thing. And if you see us post something on social media, I've seen I've seen people post the famous meme of a famous celebrity eating popcorn because that's what it turns into. You've got the guys over here that absolutely hate legendary liveries, and you've got the guys over here that absolutely love legendary liveries. In fact, our most popular post on social media are legendary liveries. And the thing of it is out of all the pre-orders that we do, 9 times out of 10, Legendary liveries outsell all other road names. Why is that? I don't know. I can't explain it to you. Personally, it's not my thing, but I don't run Athearn. I'm just an employee of Athearn, and they're not going to listen to Jim Wiggin to say what the next new item should be. It's a committee thing, and most of it's driven by you, the customers. So if legendary liveries keep selling, we're going to keep making them because you guys love them. You guys that don't love them, we're going to keep making the prototype locomotives as well. And don't think for a second that by doing legendary liveries, that takes away from anything new. We have somebody separate from legendary liveries that's working on the new products. Let's see what else we've got. Austin, I'm going to put you up there. Where's that little steam engine you did pre-orders on with the matching passenger cars? You might be talking about the 280s. We're hoping to get those maybe just before Christmas this year. So keep your eyes open. And that's a good reminder, too. If you've not done so, do yourself a favor, go over to Athearn.com and sign up for the Athearn newsletter. Now, the newsletter is called the Dispatcher. The Dispatcher goes out once a week, and it tells you what's going on at Athearn. It'll talk about pre-orders. It'll talk about what's coming in stock soon, and it will also show you what's in stock and being shipped to your dealer. Now, we try to get that out as soon as we get that information. So by signing up for the Athearn newsletter, you're one of the first to find out about what's going on at Athearn, what's shipping, what's coming soon. And also we'll let you know what shows we're going to, what kind of things we're doing. Sometimes product development will post pictures of things that they're working on. So that kind of gives you an idea of what we're doing. We'll kind of give you a behind the scenes of Athearn. So do yourself a favor if you haven't done it so far. Go ahead and sign up for that email newsletter, and you'll be glad you did. You'll see when those little 280s are going to actually be here because you'll see them in the newsletter. Jim, will the CSX SD70ACe have flashing ditch lights? And you're talking about the oscillating ditch lights when the horn function is pressed. Yes, if they are based on the prototype, since these are Genesis, if the prototype had oscillating ditch lights when the horn was depressed, then these will as well. And even if they don't, you can usually go in there and change your CVs so that they do alternate. That is actually one of the most common questions we get at Athearn. Folks really like those alternating flashing ditch lights. Let's see, Charles wants to know, is there any CA11 cabooses in the future for N-Scale? Yes, actually we announced those about a year ago. In fact, if you signed up for the Athearn newsletter, you would have seen that product development posted a early picture of some of the first shots of the N-Scale CA11. We also posted it on our social media feed. When are those going to be here? We still got about a year to wait on those because they are brand new. They're still in development, and so that means that the engineer is going back and forth with the factory, making sure everything is right before they actually go into final production. Oh, let's see. Hello to those that are just joining us. Model Ace or Model Rail Ace says legendary liveries are not. The 70 Max are in desperate need of an update. Really missing out there if these aren't already in development. Well, remember I said the guys were busy, and they are extremely busy. So you never know what they're working on, but that's probably one of the things they are working on. Remember too, there's been some models that we've had that we've run for years and years and years, and sometimes they were older models, and so they had some discrepancies to them. And when the molds went bad, our product developer didn't just fix them up and make them, shoot new models. They were updated. We've done that with some of our FMC box cars. We've given them the correct proportions. We've given them the correct roof lines. We've done a bunch of work on them. So anytime a mold has to be updated, well, it gets updated to 21st century standards. And that's just one example. Also, the Roundhouse F units is another perfect example. War Bonnet F7s when? How about now? If you go to your dealer, Athearn dealer, and ask for the Athearn Roundhouse F7s, they are in stock right now. There's Southern that's in stock. There's also Santa Fe and the War Bonnet. There's Pan Am, even if you're into that. There's a bunch that are in stock right now. We've got another shipment that's coming soon. For you folks that always like undecorated models, there's some of those coming. They should be here before Christmas. So there's your winter project coming up. And we've announced some F7As for the Athearn Roundhouse line as well. So go ahead, take a look at the new announcements on athearn.com. Let's see what else. Train Jack, I don't have an update, unfortunately, for the Texarkana rebuilds right now. I do know that are being worked on as we speak, but I don't have any good updates for you as far as an ETA. Let's see what else we've got. DG Model Works says, I'm actually looking forward to the updated Roundhouse F7s. Now, if you haven't seen DG Models website, DG Models, he pretty much does Norfolk Southern, so I don't know. I don't know if I can find him an F7 to review or not, but he does a lot of reviews for all manufacturers. He's got a really cool layout. Do yourself a favor, if you haven't checked out his YouTube channel, go on over there, check it out after the show. He's working on a Norfolk Southern layout, and boy, he's got some really cool stuff. He's also got some great little how-to videos as well. So check them out. And maybe I'll have to figure out a way to get an F7 to you. Let's see what else. No, Sparky, I don't know. Sparky's asking to be a moderator. Yeah, we haven't gotten that big yet. So we don't really have any moderators yet. Sometimes we have Athearn representatives in the background that you can't see that are watching the feed, and they're watching for those comments. Other times it's development with a cattle prod saying, Jim, don't announce that yet. So you were asking for the Genesis ones. My bad. Well, the Genesis ones have sailed. We did announce those about 2 or 3 years ago. We did F3s, we did F7s, and unfortunately, as you probably are well aware, they sold out. When are we going to do them again? Well, I don't have any dates for you, but keep an eye, keep a track of our social media as well as our new announcements. Let's see what else. Some good comments as far as suggestions, but like I said, let's send those suggestions to our product suggestion email. St. Crow, we were talking about the flashing ditch lights. He said, I make the ditch lights flash on the model, even if the prototype didn't. See, some people do that. I couldn't do that. I'm so used to just following the prototype. It's just easier. But you know what? If you want flashing ditch lights, you can do it. Rule number one, it's your railroad. You can do whatever you want. If you have a disagreement with that, see rule one. Benjamin, I have seen you inundating our social media, inundating everything. I don't have an update for you, buddy. He is looking for the 50-foot high-side gondola coal cars in the Central Illinois Public Service. Yes, I did send a product support an email. I think you mean product suggestion. At least I hope you mean product suggestion, because product support would be like, well, we can help you fix something, but we can't really do anything with new information. But yes, John has received your email. We do know about it. It's one of those things where there are so many things on product development's table right now, just trying to get through everything. So we're going to have to ask and plead for your patience on that. David has entered the chat. David, so glad to have you on board, and thank you for offering tea, both the sweet and the non-sweet varieties for us. And Mr. Reynolds, you'll be happy to know there are some Athearn Roundhouse Southern F7s available at your hobby dealer. So really, really cool. And I have to say the F units in that southern green and cream paint scheme, they just look beautiful. In fact, I'm gonna have to justify getting one of those on my layout. Let's see. While you guys wait for another question, I just want to let you know today, as I was getting ready for Train Fest, I've got some great stuff I'm going to be showing off at Train Fest. The highly anticipated U50s, we're going to have those there. We're going to have some, I think we've got some more AC4400s that we're going to be showing. As I'm getting ready for Train Fest, I was walking down the hallway and I heard somebody, and it was our president of Horizon, Chris Dickerson. And we had our typical exchange. And then he wanted to let me know that it's Train Tuesday, and he pointed to his shirt. He was wearing an Athearn shirt. And we're so happy that we're a part of the Horizon family. One of the things I want to let everybody know is all of the new tooling that we've had over the years, specifically a lot of new tooling in the last 2 years, we couldn't have done it without Horizon. Now, Horizon is a big company. They support the hobby industry through model airplanes, model cars, and of course, as a distributor for the many of the hobby shops that you may visit, either in person or online. If it wasn't for Horizon, we wouldn't have the new tooling for the AC4400s, the Dash 9s, the P40s, the P42s, the acid tank cars, the CA11s, the updates we're doing with the big boy. The list goes on. So it was really a great conversation with Chris Dickerson this afternoon, especially seeing him supporting our brand so well, wearing that Athearn shirt. And it's nice to know that he knows that it's Train Tuesday. So nice to bump into Chris and talk trains. And once again, we are really thankful for the support that we get from our parent company, especially in all the new tooling. You know, it's so nice to work for a company that we come to them with a business plan, say, you know what, our customers want this model. And they're like, okay, can you guys build it? Yeah. And they support our product developers and they pay for the tooling. And that's how we're all happy we get our new models. Remember, I've told you before that Athearn is mainly model railroaders as well. So it's a great job. It's a great place to work. Let's see. Looks like Jason's got some projects going on. Let's see. Sid thinks it should be a holiday. Wow, man, that's a holiday every week. I don't know. It's a good thing there's no food involved. I'd really be overweight. Terry wants to know any chance of getting some legendary livery, Southern ACL, Seaboard, mint green, red, and Genesis level. Also, Genesis Southern bay window cabooses. Wow. Those are some cool suggestions. You can definitely forward those to our Athearn product suggestion email. And we haven't really done a lot of those in legendary liveries, so we might have to think about that coming into the next year. As far as the Genesis bay window caboose, I don't have any information for you on that. I don't know if the guys have been looking into that or not, but it would be a very cool project to have. Train Jack wants to know, Jim, will there be another holiday photo contest? I don't know. Would you like one? Now, in years past, we have done a fun little holiday contest where you post pictures of your Athearn railroad equipment in a Christmas setting. It could be anything. It could be your grandchildren enjoying your layout. It could be your Athearn train running under the tree. Anything that's holiday related. And yeah, it sounds like maybe we need to start thinking about that before you know it. I mean, the holiday season's here, and I don't know if we even had time to do it last year, so maybe we'll have to think about it. That also, too, remember for the first time in a very long time, Athearn is offering a 2024 Christmas tree ornament. A Christmas tree ornament is the F7 that we have produced since the 1950s and recently updated. And you can get one now too. They're going to be here in the end of November. They're 1999. They're roughly N scale. They're a little smaller than N scale. They're not really going to function on N scale track. But if you really like the paint scheme of the holiday ornament, don't worry. We're offering it in an HO scale model as well. You can pre-order it until November 29th. Ah, yes. I am right there with you. any updates on the Genesis HO Missouri Pacific GP15-1's arrival? So this is one I'm gonna share your frustration because I'm right there with you. My Rock Island Rail locomotives are in that batch. Originally, we were really hoping to have those out this past summer. Then they got pushed to July. Then they got pushed again to, I believe, November. Unfortunately, right now they've been pushed to, I'd say midwinter, maybe right after the Amherst show. If I'm lucky, maybe I'll have them at the Amherst show. Why is that? It's just because production is trying to catch up. And remember, these are the ones that had the updates that include the lit number boards and classification lights if the prototype had them. So I'm right there with you. I bet you I'm more impatient than you are, though, because I've been wanting those locomotives since the day I pre-ordered them. All right, let's do one or two more questions, and then I'm going to let you guys get back to it and get some work done on your own railroads. Let's see. Let's see. Becky says, love my new military CP units. When are the next ones out? Thanks, Jeff. So yes, the latest SD70ACe military versions are out now. You're probably wondering about the box set that we're doing. We're also going to rerun all of them in case you missed them the first two times that we announced them. Those won't be here until next November. So we got about a year out before those come out. So hopefully that answers your question. Sid wants to know, did the NSC 6400s and NSC 6000s get pushed back? It looks like it. Again, we've got a backlog of projects, and so we're slowly making ways to get through there. Now we just started shipping the U50s, the AC4400s, and I know you're going to be interested in this. The SD45T-2s are shipping as well. So we've got some that are shipping, and I have been told that we're probably going to see some more in the month of November. So keep an eye on our newsletter. Let's see. A couple of comments in the modeling world. Canadian Locomotive Logistics, you are welcome. Thank you for joining us. I do enjoy talking to you guys. It's not as good as a show. I really like talking to you in person. I really like to get to visit some of the layouts sometimes. That doesn't happen enough. But yes, you're welcome. I really enjoy the interaction. Bobby wants to say, hey, Jim, bravo on the Northshore Mining unit. Pre-ordered all of them. Can you describe the differences between the road numbers again? Really, the biggest difference are these are former CSX locomotives. The biggest difference that you're going to see is the horns. Each locomotive, for whatever reason, has its own distinctive horn. Now, if you get the Tsunami 2 version, what that means is when they're in development, our researchers have to research and find out what horn that is and what sound file to use. So you're going to have all three units, and when you hit the horn, they're all going to sound different. They're all going to be based on the prototype. Anytime you have a Genesis locomotive, all of the details are specific to that road number. So that's the biggest thing. They're all going to have different horns. Let's see what else. Sid is tempting me with Ohio Central and peanut butter Buckeyes. If you don't know what peanut butter Buckeyes are, you're missing out. Those are amazing. I don't think you want that, Sid. I will eat way too many. Sparky, this is a great question. We're going to end with this. This is a great question. Sparky 107 wants to know, why do things take a year to come out? Second runs that just change paint schemes, or are there other changes? That's an excellent question, and thanks for asking it. So on the surface, And we'll take the SD70ACes as an example. Right now, we currently have a run out there that we've got some UP in 2 different paint schemes. We've got some Ferromex. We've got some, let's see, Norfolk Southern. Now, we have the AC 4400. We're going on to the second run. The second run's actually being delivered right now. If we were to announce new ones right now, why would it take over a year for those to get done if we're just changing the paint? And this is where the devil is in the details. The moment that you see a new announcement on a Train Tuesday or one of our videos or on our website, what you're not seeing is the amount of research time a researcher spends on those particular units. Take, for example, the BNSF units of the SD70ACes that we just talked about. So they've spent hours researching these. On the surface, they may look identical, but that's not always the case. Just like those Northshore Mining locomotives having different horns, even though they all are SD70ACes and they all have the same paint scheme. But the research doesn't stop there. As soon as the pre-orders are done and we have an idea of how many need to be produced, the researchers have to really kick into action. And one of the things they're doing is they're making sure that A, all of the details for those locomotives are available. Are they available? Yes, they get added to the locomotive. Are they not available? They may require some new tooling. That goes through its own process, and that new tooling is approved, and then it's designed, and then it's sent to our factory. Then all of that paint work, well, that has to be checked too. In many cases where we're working with Union Pacific, we actually use actual drawdown paint samples from Union Pacific. We test all of that. In some cases with Amtrak, since we have a licensing agreement, Amtrak has to be a part of the approval process. Not only that, but with the Tsunami 2 versions, we have to work with soundtracks and make sure that all of the sounds for that particular locomotive, from the horn, the bell, the prime mover, all of that is exactly what the prototype has, and work with soundtracks to get those files loaded onto those decoders. Now, all of this takes time because we're just talking one locomotive. We do up to 200 to 300 SKUs every 30 days. And so our researchers and our product developers are extremely busy all of the time. In fact, they're probably working on your next project right now. Now, once that's all done, that gets sent to our factory. And the factory has a process of setting up all the machinery to make those runs. And when those runs are first produced, they're sent back to the original researcher and they're proofed, kind of like when you proof a document. They're going to look it all over and they're going to offer suggestions that need to be made. They send it back to the factory. Factory makes those updates. And all of this takes sometimes up to 18 months or longer. Now, one of the disadvantages we had, all of us actually in this industry, is when we had the chip shortage. And that really slowed down the factories and it made a backlog. But I am happy to say we are slowly getting through that. So I hope that answers your question. It's a very simplistic answer. It's actually a much deeper answer in there. There's a lot of details that go into place for every new product. And on the surface, it may look like just an update on the paint scheme, but in reality, it sometimes takes hours of research alone before that can be made. All right, so thanks for that question. That was a great question, and I'm hoping that really answered it for you. And sometime, hey, if you see me at a show and you've got that same question, stop by and talk to me. If you see Mark goes to a lot of the shows with me. Mark's actually the guy that makes sure we're doing what we need to do to make sure that you get the products that you're looking for. Mark is well versed in the complete process and be more than happy to talk to you about it. All right. Well, with that, I'm going to let you guys get back to some modeling. I really enjoyed our time together. And like I said, those SD70ACes, they're available now. And the ones that we talked about in the presentation, you have until November 29th to place your pre-orders. I hope you guys are getting ready for Train Fest. It's only a few short weeks away. And I'm looking forward to seeing maybe some of you at that show. Until next Tuesday, I want everybody out there to be happy, be healthy, be safe, do some modeling, and above all, high greens. Take care, everyone.